Last year we talked about hitting the $1 billion mark in revenue. $1 billion, we hit it last year. And guess what? We're going to hit $1.1 billion. We're moving in the right direction. And I went up to Spokane afterwards, and Ty pulled me aside, and he goes, "Hey, did we hit a gajillion dollars?" So you bet we did, buddy. So that and the 7,500 houses that we've built. I can't even, I mean, it just sounds funny to me to say it, because it was not too long ago when Hayden and I built our first house together. And let's see, the scrap pile was, way bigger than the stage. Good thing we didn't have VPOs back then. And so I was telling the story of why we exist. You're going to hear from some Youth Build people later. And Youth Build is a division of AmeriCorps. Don't want to get too derailed here, but AmeriCorps is a federally funded program, and Youth Build is an opportunity that AmeriCorps has to help kids who, by and large, have made mistakes. They are not going to graduate from high school, right, as they sit. And Youth Build pulls these kids aside, gives them high school credit, leadership classes. Some of these kids are phenomenal speakers. I'm hoping that we have some kids speak here today. And they teach them how to build houses. And in Spokane, they happen to build Brianna Solis' house, who's a first-story recipient. And these kids, they have classroom settings, and they invited myself and Mike Moore in to talk to them. And I thought it would be a great time for us to just kind of tell our stories. So I told the story, a little more detail, definitely some of my delinquent years when I was in a heavy metal band and doing crazy stuff. And so I hopefully they realized that I was them at some point. And I told them the story and great questions afterwards. It's amazing when I approach life from a curiosity standpoint. And these kids are curious. And kids ask the best questions. And the older they get, the questions kind of get worse and worse because they start to get scared. And that's my goal, is to ask silly questions. So, the student raises his hand. "Hey, you've built 7,500 houses. How many houses do you want to build?" And I said, "That's a great question. I've never thought about it. And I don't know. But what's more important to me is how many of you Youth Build kids intern for Hayden Homes. What's more important to me is changing lives. How many of you kids come to work full-time for Hayden Homes? Or you get hit by the construction bug and you work for one of our contractors or trades, or you become gainfully employed. That's what's more important to me. Which, seems kind of a reckless answer, right? I'm an engineer. I'm very pragmatic. I like numbers. I like to really step things out. But it really was an aha moment for me that I've never thought, well, first of all, I never thought we'd get to 7,500. And when I tell people this story in business, I say, what private companies headquartered in the Northwest have created $1 billion worth of economic impact? And the answer is very few. You have companies like Nike, they're exporting a lot of their labor and materials to Korea and Vietnam and China. And you have very few companies like ours that are thriving and driving